Hello, folks. Back in the end of the 2023, from the Dickerson Talk Show. My name is Dickerson. My name is Lil Evan. And my name is Lil Chan. You're watching the Dickerson Talk Show. Only on the YouTube channel. This is brought to you by the Dickerson Bluegrass Productions. One of the finest meat companies in the world, bluegrass music. Is that right, people? Is that right, folks? And, stay tuned for the interviews for the rest of the time of this year, 2023. And stay tuned for more interviews. Yeah, interviews. Yep, and I'm Evan Dickerson. This is Lil Evan. This is Lil Chan. Stay tuned for the interviews on the Dickerson Talk Show. Which is brought to you by the Dickerson Bluegrass Productions. One of the finest meat companies in the world, bluegrass music. Is that right, people? Is that right, folks? Stay tuned for the interviews. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye. This is putting thumbs up on the Dickerson Talk Show. Like I said on my shirt, my name is Evan Dickerson from the Dickerson Bluegrass Talk Show, which is brought to you by the Dickerson Bluegrass Productions. It's one of the finest media companies all around the world, bluegrass music. Is that right, people? Is that right, folks? And I'm here at the Brown County Fairgrounds in Georgetown, Ohio, and at the Brown County Bluegrass Festival in Brown County Fairgrounds in Georgetown, Ohio. Here at the old Hippie Bluegrass shows gets aired, and that's where they do it at and record it at. And here with Jerry Eicher from the old Hippie Bluegrass show. Where they can find that at, Jerry?
Hey, they can find that on my website anytime, 24/7, www.olhippie.bluegrassshow.com.
Oh, yes.
That streams 24/7, and I've got archived shows on there, so you can go back and listen to, there's probably 30 or 40 shows on there you can listen to.
Oh, yes. And how do you like being here at Brown County Bluegrass Festival in Georgetown?
I'm liking it real well. There's some great entertainment that's going to be here. And like you, I'm hoping to get some good interviews and just get the word about bluegrass and Brown County out to people.
Yeah.
But I like it.
And how long have you been doing the old Hippie Bluegrass show for?
We've been doing the old Hippie Bluegrass show for 15 years now.
15 years?
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
We started out with a 1-hour show in 2008, and I was fascinated with the late night shows, like late night talk shows and stuff. So we decided that we wanted to run the show from midnight to 1 o'clock.
And I hope everybody's listening, okay? But Jerry, you got a new song now? You got a song is out with Edgar Loudmilk's band. What's the name of it? You wrote with Rick Lang?
The name of the song that I wrote with Rick Lang is called My Picasso.
My Picasso? Is it me or my?
My
Picasso. And how did that come about when you wrote the song with Rick Lang?
Well, I've been thinking about that, and it leads clear back to my childhood, because we always had horses, and my dad was a horse trader, and we always went to the horse auctions, but I was pretty little then, and he had a good friend, and come to find out, he butchered horses for the Toledo Zoo for lion meat. And when I'd go to the horse auctions with him, I'd hear him talking about the killers, the killer pens. And I didn't know what that was when I was little, but as I grew up and I went to my dad's friend's house, and they took me to the slaughterhouse where they butchered the horses, and I was just kind of overwhelmed, and because I've always loved horses, and I just hated to see the horses butchered like that, and some of them were old, and but I'm sure some of them were Mustangs too.
Yeah.
And so the years went on, and I wrote a protest song about the Mustangs in 1984 called Look at That Mustang Go. And that song was kind of radical because I was pretty upset and I could never get nobody to record that song, but I always do it live, and people like to hear it. But then that song, like I said, I wrote that one in like 84, something like that. And so then I got on the internet and I seen this horse Picasso, and I started reading the story about him, and it turned out that he roamed the Sandwash Basin in Colorado for 30 years without being captured, and was able to die free as a wild Mustang. In 2019 was the last time they saw him. So, and the story is just spectacular, and I started reading it and I thought, man, I gotta write another Mustang song, because you know, this leads up. My other song was about trying to save the Mustangs, and then this Mustang got to live his life out for 30 years. I'm like, wow, you know. So I wrote the song, and then, as you know, I have the radio show too, and I interviewed Rick Lang, because Rick had an album out of all the songs that he wrote, and he co-wrote with people. And we were talking, it was about a 45-minute conversation we had, and he says, you know, Jerry, he says, I'd even co-write with you. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And so I didn't think about it much anymore, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And then after the interview was over, in a couple weeks, I got a hold of him. I said, Rick, I said, you know, I do have a song that I need help with. And I wrote this song, and I got the music and everything, but it's just not smooth enough, and all the lyrics don't quite rhyme. And if you could help me with that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be. And,
he said, well, sure, I'll help you.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, Rick came back with a verse and a chorus. And he did it himself, finger picking on the guitar and singing it. And when I heard that, Evan, I had tears in my eyes. I couldn't believe it. It was exactly the way I thought it should be. Rick Lang is such a talented man, and he just brought that song to life. And so he asked me how I liked it. I said, Rick, I love it. I said, go ahead, go on with it like that. You're doing a great job. So, and he got so inspired by the story himself, he started looking it up on the internet and YouTube, and within 2 weeks he had it finished and sent me his whole little demo of it, and I listened to the whole thing, and I'm like, you know, tears in my eyes. I'm like, Rick, this is it. This is the song. Exactly the way I thought it should be. What's our next step? And he said, well, I got a guy that does demos for me.
Yeah.
He said, we'll go in on the price 50-50.
Yeah.
You pay 50 and I'll pay 50%. We'll go in on this together, he says, if that's all right with you. I said, that's perfect, Rick. And so he had this guy record it, and when I heard the demo, it was even better yet, because this guy put the instruments in it, and it was just awesome. I couldn't wait for people to hear it. And everybody I played it for said, you should play this on your radio show. And I said, no, I don't want to play the demo on the radio show. I want somebody to record this song, and then we can play them on the radio. So as much as people wanted to hear it, I didn't put it on the show.
Well, that was a good point, though. And as a songwriter and also as a DJ, you gotta know which songs to put on the radio and which not to put on the radio.
Yeah, you don't want to mess something up, you know, for the future.
That's true. And and Jerry, how long? I know you're from. Are you from Michigan or are you from Ohio?
I'm from Delta, Ohio.
Delta, Ohio.
But my radio show comes on FM radio in Adrian, Michigan.
Adrian, Michigan.
Yeah.
And how far is from where you live?
Adrian's about half hour from my house.
And how'd you get into bluegrass music? I know this is the old Hippie Bluegrass show.
Yeah, well, a long time ago, when the earth was green. But anyways, a good friend of mine took up the banjo. And I said, well, I'm going to take up the guitar then. And there was a guy named Conley Varble that was giving lessons in Holland, Ohio, which is a suburb of Toledo. And me and him both went to him and learned how to play bluegrass. And then we got this little act together. We were kind of like Flat and Scruggs, you know, just a duet. So me and him started doing shows and playing bluegrass. But my background is kind of bluegrass and old country. My cousin Shelby Eicher, he played for Roy Clark for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And I grew up going to the square dances where Shelby played at. And as kids, Mom and Dad, we'd always go to the square dances and Shelby'd be up there fiddling, you know.
Oh.
But at that time, I was more into rock and roll.
Right.
But the way we got the name of the show is, there was a radio show in Toledo called the Sunday Ramble, bluegrass, folk, and country. And that show disintegrated, and people were telling me they knew I was into bluegrass and recording, because by that time I'd had a bluegrass band, and they said, you should start a radio show. And I was laid off from work, and a good friend of mine now, Randy Schaefer, who I didn't really know too much back then. Randy's got a story himself. He's had a hit song called She's Not Really Cheatin', She's Just Getting Even, that Mo Bandy recorded. And so when Randy had that hit song, he moved to Nashville and started writing songs and working in studios, and then he got MS.
MS?
Yeah.
What does that mean, MS?
Multiple sclerosis.
Oh.
It's a debilitating disease, I guess you would call it. And he moved back to Toledo to be by family.
Good.
And these guys that had this other radio show I was telling you about, they made 3 Christmas albums in my studio for their radio show. And Randy Schaefer was one of the guys that they brought in for me to make a song with, because he had wrote a song, a really good Christmas song called Hard Times Christmas.
Hard Time Christmas? That's a good one.
And it was almost recorded by Alabama. He was waiting by the phone because Alabama had 2 songs and they had to pick one or the other to finish off that Christmas album, and lo and behold, they didn't pick his. But it's a great song, and we recorded it, and then me and Randy got to be friends, and then I got laid off from work, and they was telling us, you should make a radio show. So I got with Randy and said, you know, what should we call it, Randy? And neither one of us, I don't know if you'd have called us hippies or not, but I said, Randy, why don't we call it the Hillbilly Bluegrass Show? And Randy said, no, he said, that's too common. He says, everybody calls stuff like that. And he says, I got it. He said, let's call it the Hippie Bluegrass Show. I'm like, I don't know, Randy. I don't think a lot of people will like that. And he said, no, he says, believe me, he says, it'll catch on.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it caught on, and here we are 15 years later, and I couldn't get rid of that name if I wanted to.
Yeah, but it is a great name, and that is a great story about you and Randy wrote a song together. You guys wrote a song together, and it was almost an Alabama tune, but hopefully in the future it'll be an Alabama tune.
Yep,
But
it's still out there. Anybody could record it still, you never know.
yeah.
Just like this song, My Picasso, I started carrying it around to the festivals, the demo. And it was exactly a year ago, probably today, I was set up over there by the building. Edgar's running around here like a chicken with his head cut off, and he comes in the RV, and I said, Edgar, you got to hear this song. And he's like, well, I'm pretty busy. I said, no, just wait a minute, let me put this song on. So I put it in the CD player and cranked it up. And halfway through the song, Edgar looked at me and he said, does anybody have a hold on this song yet? And I'm pretty new in this, and I'm like, what do you mean a hold on it? Have you told anybody they can record this song yet? I said, no. I said, you're really almost the first person that I've played it for. He said, well, I want it. He said, you put a hold on this song for me. And I said, okay, I'll get a hold of Rick Lang and I'll ask him. So I got a hold of Rick and I said, Edgar wants to record this song and he wants us to put a hold on it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was kind of similar with me, but I can't say details on it, but I will say it's going to make a cut read by Tim Stafford. I'll say that big by him. And Edgar did tell, I was at Marshall Bluegrass Festival this past year, and I talked to Edgar, and he likes my song, he's going to record it. I'll tell you that much. I'll say that much.
Nice.
I can't say the name of the song is yet.
Awesome.
Sorry,
awesome.
folks. But anyway.
Well, what a great guy and a great band, and I think they're coming up, and they're going to be going to the top, I think.
You got any questions for me before we get off here, Jerry?
Yeah, I was wondering about the autism concert that you're involved with. What's going on with that?
It's in New Carlisle House. It's at my great uncle Ed's family ranch called the Evans Family Ranch. It's on Saturday, August 26th, this Saturday.
Oh.
And the doors open at 9. And the meet and greet with me and Stormy and Rick Ferris at 10:30 to 11:30. And then got some bands like 10 Cents Off, Bear Pickens, Echo Valley, Drayton Gordon, Rick Ferris, Hammertown, and a whole lot. And my dad, Wayne Dickerson Band.
Nice.
My business partner. If I don't mention my business partner, it's not good. But anyway.
There you go.
But anyway, I hope that you guys come out to the Bluegrass Musicians for Autism Awareness this Saturday. And I just want to let everyone know, only the videos on these interviews are going to be on YouTube, but we'll share them on Facebook, everybody, and on the talk show page. And I'm Evan Dickerson from the Bluegrass Talk Show, brought to you by the Bluegrass Productions. You folks take care. Have a nice day.
Bye.